I feel the need for speed. Okay. Ooh.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that blooper because that will probably be the first and only time you will hear a blooper like that from your host. Well, this is another screencast of Total OS today, and to all my cyber friends out there, thank you once again for joining me. This is somewhat of a special edition, a look back almost a year ago next month at 100 videos, actually 99 videos since this is the 100th video here. Before I continue, just a brief update. I know a lot of you are waiting for my next video, the epic battle between Windows and Linux. The pre-production notes for that are pretty much done. It's just a matter of me doing some test videos, looking at them, seeing how short, how long I want it to be, stuff like that. Right now, I'm leaning towards keeping it simple, short, informative, and funny because that is really my style. But getting back to this screencast, this is a look back at 99 videos. So let's begin. Well, this was the first one, Ubuntu versus Windows. For those of you who are new to this channel, the purpose of my channel, my objective is really to let Windows users at least get them to try using Linux, such as Ubuntu, Zorn, and Linux Mint. At least try it because you may like what you try. Now, besides that, I do reviews, tutorials, off-topic stuff, technology news, and basically anything that involves technology. But this was the first one, Ubuntu versus Windows, just to let people know that I am a dual booter. The second one was just an expansion of the first one, Ubuntu versus Windows Part 2. The next one I thought would get more views. This was one entitled Does Size Matter? It was really a joke, but just to let new Ubuntu users know how to resize your desktop icons if they are too big. If this only had 37 views, maybe I wasn't funny enough. The next one was some Linux websites, pretty much self-explanatory. This one I thought was a good one, Wooby Ubuntu inside Windows. Using the Wooby installer is probably the easiest and safest way for a Windows user to try Ubuntu or Linux Mint really without any complicated installation process and without any chance or much less of a chance of damaging your Windows partition. The next one was 3 Microsoft disasters. Again, I thought this one would get more views. This one really talked about the first release or the first production of the Xbox 360 and the 3 Red Rings of Death. The Microsoft Zune, which was supposed to be an iPod killer, it was not. And of course Microsoft Vista. I remember buying my HP multimedia laptop, the last one before Vista. It had HP. It had a sticker says Vista ready or Vista capable. I ordered the free upgrade discs, and needless to say, Vista should have been called Crapsta. Moving on to the next one. Okay, this was my top 3 Linux distributions at the time. The next one was why I like Microsoft in spite of those 3 disasters or semi-disasters. I still enjoy using Microsoft. I think the Xbox 360, I had mine fixed. Had it fixed, it came back. It's been running flawlessly. I enjoy playing video games with my son, and I thoroughly enjoy playing the Halo series. Now this one here really surprised me. This one is called Ubuntu 10.10 Perfect Desktop. This one has almost 25,000 views. I am stunned. It was just a bit of news. Thank you for all of you who have watched this. Again, this has over almost 25, over 24,000. That's a lot of views. Thanks. This next one was a series on basically self-explanatory Ubuntu for Dummies, letting new users try or explain to them how to get used to getting started with Ubuntu or Ubuntu. This was part one. I think I did three parts. This is part two. I took a little sidetrack. This one was called Ubuntu Think Like Windows. And then the last one was Ubuntu for Dummies, part three. This one surprised me. This one only had 310 views. I did have a few comments saying thank you for this. It helped me a lot to try Linux. I should become a YouTube partner, which I'm not. I'll talk about that later. But to the people I have helped on this, you're quite welcome. Alright, the next one was Simply Meepus 8.5 review. This was also a multi-part. This is one of the easier distributions to use for Windows migrations. And we have Simply Meepus review part 2, part 3, the final part. Okay, this was Ubuntu versus Windows 7 speed test, pretty much self-explanatory. This was basically strictly boot tests. And this was Ubuntu versus 7, a quick look. The next one was really just a personal thing. It was called the Total OS Today Special Edition. This one was featuring the music of my cyberspace, a friend of mine, wonderful gifted jazz writer, part of the jazz funk band Bonafide. He goes by the name of Slim Man from Baltimore. He gave me permission to use his music for a couple of pieces of software called Ripper, X, and Rhythmbox inside Ubuntu. So Slim Man, if you ever watch this, thank you. For those of you out there who like jazz music, both soft and funky, check out Slim Man and his band Bonafide. Alright, the next one was Ubuntu Lucid Links, quick look, self-explanatory. Linux Mint Flux. I tried this one. I called this Speedy, and it is. If you're looking for a very speedy, stable Linux distribution, try Linux Mint Flux Edition. Okay, the next one was the big release of Linux Mint 9 Isadora. This was a 4-part review. This one had quite a few views, 6,000 and so on and so forth. Part 2, 3, and 4. Okay, this was Ubuntu Lucid Links bug survey. I thought this would get more views, just 102 views. I think I wrote anyone else having issues such as slow video processing and freeze-ups. Okay, and this was another Linux Mint review final. This one had over 8,000 views. A new distribution came out last summer called Peppermint OS, a lightweight distribution, and I basically called this Ubuntu plus Ubuntu plus Linux Mint. Okay, the next one was Ubuntu Lucid Links versus Windows 7, testing, comparing, and grading the two. Xubuntu, another fine lightweight offshoot of Ubuntu. This was the Lucid Links multi-parter test of Xubuntu. And my favorite TV show, this was an off-topic. If you haven't watched this, if you get this, the USA Cable satellite channel, check out Burn Notice. It's the hottest show on TV, in my opinion. It's basically about a burned spy. Okay, for Windows users, the next one was avoiding Windows crashes. And this was my response to responses on Ubuntu versus Windows 7. I had some mostly positive comments on this test. There was one that kind of made me chuckle. The comment was that this video was bought and paid for by Microsoft. Obviously not. I wish it was bought and paid for. I would have a lot more money now. I was proud of this one, Ubuntu in the Real World, Why the Market Rejects Linux. This was a multi-part. Actually, in the last couple of years, the Android market has really exploded. So maybe the market will no longer reject Linux. It seems to have rejected at least a Linux desktop, but not maybe Linux itself. So we shall see how far Android and the Android OS can go. Preventing Windows Viruses Part 1. I have yet to get a virus in Windows 7, so those of you out there who are looking how to prevent Windows viruses, check out this two-parter. This was a bit of technology news. The Toshiba, I think this was a Toshiba, the world's first dual-screen Windows 7 laptop. This was a review of a new media player called X-Noise. If I recall, I was not too impressed with that one. Alright, this next one was the best of free software 2010. Alright, this was a response to Twill Talks, Ubuntu haters. Twill, This Week in Linux, great channel. If you want to know everything there is to know about Linux, I believe he just does Linux and not Windows as far as you know, which is fine. Check out Twill, This Week in Linux. And this was more technology news for 2010. More tech news, this was the iPhone 4, Zoom, dating, and the very first cell phone. Check this video out. This has some news, or maybe even a picture of the very first cell phone that was used, I believe, in New York in 1973. And my favorite Xbox 360 game, Halo Reach, a first look. This one I'm proud of too. This was Zorn OS 3 review, part 1 of 4. Very good OS, of course. OS 4 is out now, and then this was a 4-part video which got a lot of views. Review of IOBit Security 360. This is a lightweight piece of anti-malware software for Windows. You may want to check that out. This was in response to Ozgui as to why Linux sucks. I forget exactly what I said, but basically Linux, I would say Linux does suck at least sometimes. Okay, this next one is pretty much the title says it all. #1 alternative for Windows users, which is Zorn OS 3 Multimedia. Of course, now we have Zorn OS 4. Check that one out. This one was also for Ozgui, my attempt to shoot down all 20 reasons. I believe Ozzy Tims had 20 reasons as to why Windows sucks, but only 6 for Linux. Oh well, that's the way it goes, but I enjoy, to me, Windows is still king. What can I say? The next one is Ubuntu 11.04 News. One of my favorites, Why Windows Kicks Linux Heine. I think the title says it all. You've got to check this one out. I call this Pillow Fight Airlines. Apparently on a transatlantic flight, the passengers just went into a pillow fight with one of the flight attendants. It's a short video, but very funny. This was another off-topic. This was actually a real commercial for a men's cologne called Lynxjet. Very provocative commercial, to say the least. Check it out, Lynxjet. And this was my choice of total top 10 apps. The next one was, oh yeah, Windows 95 turns 15. I'm not sure why I did one. It's just one of those, I don't know, goofy type of videos, I guess. Ah yes, my Windows brain looks at Kubuntu. By the way, Kubuntu 4.6 looks solid. Why Linux drives me nuts, pretty much self-explanatory. You may want to take a look at this video, Why Linux Drives Me Nuts. More news, Toshiba recall, Samsung tablet, Ubuntu betas. This was a review of a movie called Revolution OS, a fascinating documentary from 2001 which chronicles the history of the open source movement. Good flick. Okay, and this one was my top reasons why some people quit Linux. Self-explanatory. This was another off-topic video. Don't rock the boat. This was a cruise ship that hit some very rocky seas, and the camera, security camera was rolling, so check it out. Alright, video editing using Linux, self-explanatory. Special edition review, Halo Reach, a masterpiece. And after finishing and doing the whole game, I think Halo Reach is definitely a masterpiece. Uber Student, a free operating system for students. And back to Ubuntu. This is a multi-part Ubuntu 10.1 Maverick Meerkat review. Part 2. Okay, next we have the 11.04 Ubuntu release schedule, which has changed somewhat. The history of Ubuntu, interesting video there. Alright, Zorin OS 3 versus top 10 Linux. Of course, now my favorite is Zorin OS 4. And this was just a quick update of the 10.10 Ubuntu. Speed up Windows XP for free. Windows users, check that one out. Linux Mint 10, another winner, and it certainly is. Kazam Recorder, my current Linux desktop recorder of choice. Ubuntu, a rolling distribution. There was a rumor of that being rolling distribution for Ubuntu. I'm not sure if it's true or not. Maybe someone has an update. This was done before the end of last year. Thank you for a fun year in Linux, and definitely thank you. I do mean it. And this was the year ending Best of Technology 2010. This is probably one of my best, if not my best videos, Zorin OS 4 review, a Linux for the future. Next one was Cool Ubuntu Themes. And I'm SOL, saving old laptop. I installed Windows 98 SC in an old laptop and it still works pretty good. Okay, this was for my friend, first time Linux user. He actually, I installed Linux Mint 10 and he thoroughly enjoys it, so good for him. The future of Linux is Russia. Apparently, the Russian Federation is shooting for a unified operating system of Linux for the entire country. We'll see what happens. This one I thought would get more views. Linux for Newbies Part 1, You Choose. I'm basically letting you choose what full review installation you want me to do. I haven't really gotten much feedback on this. In the end, I may wind up just choosing one myself and doing a multi-part tutorial on Linux for new users. Alright, the next one is Mintcast, my favorite Linux podcast. This one has the creator of Linux Mint, Clem Lefebvre. I hope I'm saying it right. You can check it out at mintcast.org, and I may do more videos focusing on Mintcast. This one had a few views, some new Linux names. If I could change some of the strange Linux software name, this was just for fun. I had fun doing it. I hope you had fun looking at it. The next one was my new logo of Total OS Today, some technology news about the president, and my blog. The next one was a short video on how to safely delete Ubuntu Linux inside Windows 7. Zorin 4 Ultimate, quick look, nice. It is nice. I think the title says it all. Ubuntu review. I wrote Fast to Light. I actually enjoyed, for the very short time I had it in my old laptop, I actually enjoyed using it. I think the main reason I deleted it was I downloaded and installed the screencasting software and it did not work. But I may try this again in the future. This was by request, a Digeus registry cleaner from Digeus Inc. This was a request right before Christmas. I have not gotten a reply. If you use Windows and would like to try a very easy to use registry cleaner, try Digeus, D-I-G-E-U-S. What software should President Obama use? This is one of those somewhat off-topic videos that I did. Linux for Girls. I thought this one would get a lot more views. I actually showed Linux to one of my female friends, and check out the video. I posted some of her, or talked about some of her comments. It turns out what the girls want is the same thing men want in a operating system. It's just something that just works, easy to use, simple to use. So there you go. This was more Linux names. Apparently these jokes on names wasn't that funny. This one only has 57 views, but that's okay. I still enjoy doing it. Linux Mint 10 4.6, the release candidate. This was just a quick look. From what I saw, it looks terrific. I may have to do a full installation for a full review, but what I saw looks good, so we'll see. Windows versus Linux sneak peek. I know you are looking forward to this. I'm working on it. It's almost done. And the last video on my list is Ubuntu 11.04. No release candidate. Just the change in the release schedule for Ubuntu 11.04. Natty Norwal. Well, let me just say, in ending this special, I started this as a hobby. Did not think I would do all these videos, have all these channel views. I really thank you. Some of the comments have really been very heartfelt. How I've helped some people try Linux. One comment or two was, God bless you. I mean, gee, what can I say? God bless you back. I've had quite a few comments saying I should become a YouTube partner. When I first started this was really just as a hobby, something to do in the cold winter months when it's, you know, too cold to go outside and I am stuck inside. I never really thought about it, but, you know, maybe I should try for a YouTube partnership. Who knows? Maybe I can start a college fund for my son. I'm not sure what all the qualifications are to become a YouTube partner. I think I have enough videos, enough views, but I've only got about 250 subscribers. When I look at some of the YouTube partners who have tens of thousands, I don't know, I feel kind of like left out in the cold. I do thank you, all 251 of you actually who have subscribed to me. It does mean a lot to me. Thank you. It keeps me going. I don't know, maybe I'll try for YouTube partnership. All I can say is at this point, thank you, and a small request, tell all your friends about this channel. Honestly, I would like to hit 1,000 subscribers, if not more. I would feel more comfortable once doing that to subscribe for a partnership, because I believe if I subscribe and I am declined, I may have to wait 6 months. So I'd rather just do it when I feel I am ready. So my small request to you, tell your friends about the channel. I'm looking for some new subs. Anyway, thank you for watching this special edition of Total OS Today. Greatly appreciative of all your comments, suggestions, anything good and bad. I can take it. I accept, and I will take a look at all comments. I don't accept all kinds of language. I do have a son, so please bear that in mind. But once again, thank you very much. And I will work on the Windows 7 versus Linux video. I promise it will be a good one. It will be entertaining. Probably one of my best videos I've ever done. So once again, guys, thank you for watching Total OS Today. And as always, I will catch you sometime in the future.